Moving forward to Thru-Hulls, everybody. Today we're going to be doing an install on the custom 29 that we're building. Going to be showing you all the proper sealants, the proper thread lubricants, how we're installing these. It's going to be pretty cool. Appreciate you guys tuning into the channel here today at Fish Bump TV. Stay tuned, got cool stuff coming your way. So we've got our big 1.5" valves. We went ahead and put the, that's the Permatex, the PTFE thread sealant. And you can see we applied it pretty liberally. I think earlier on the intro I said thread lubricant, but it's more like a lubricant sealant. Much easier to install these before we put them in the boat. And what we're going to be doing is using the 3M, the 4200. That is going to be the correct one. Now you can use the Fast Cure or you can use the regular 4200. And we've taped real thoroughly. You can see we've just used blue masking tape, and then you can see how we've bordered that. Got a nice tight border on it, and we've thoroughly cleaned these pieces. You're going to want to use some acetone. I used a little bit of Scotch-Brite pad and some acetone in a bucket to thoroughly clean these. And you see we're wearing gloves. And then the 4200, it's recommended that you lightly abrade the surface. So now that we've got the boat taped off, I'm using a little bit of the Scotch-Brite, and I'm just doing a real light circular motion around to kind of abrade. That is brand new gel coat there. There's never been anything bonded to it. You don't have to sand it real heavily, but they do recommend a light abrasion before we assemble. Prep is key on almost everything you do on a boat. Taking the time. We've spent a couple hours today already prepping, and we've got a little bit of compressed air. And I had previously wiped the back of the boat down with some acetone as well, y'all, to kind of clean any wax residue, but we're using some acetone from our local supplier there at Advanced Plastics. And now we have actually already cleaned all these bronze fittings, but when these things are in the store, you may have had a bunch of people picking these things up, or they may have had some stickers on them. And generally I either use a Scotch-Brite pad, or for these, I just used a inexpensive kind of a bristle brush. And we real methodically cleaned each part. And we're gonna do that before assembly. Now obviously you can see I've got some latex gloves on as well. And that's just going to clean off any oil residue and whatnot. That is part of the prep work involved. So one of the first things you're going to want to do is clean these with acetone. We've marked off and we've taped all the perimeters. We've lightly scuffed it with that's some of your standard just Scotch-Brite pad. I believe that's the medium grade. And then we will want to be sure there's no condensation or dust or moisture on any of those parts before the install. That is part of the prep work. Here we go with the 3M, the 4200 Fast Cure. We've kind of taped these edges. Mark is going to rotate this. Keep going, that's faster. All right. I believe we are good. We should get squeeze out on that. What do you think, Mark? I think so. Yeah, all right, y'all. Looking pretty good. Generally about that amount. There's a sweet spot. Obviously, we want some squeeze out. You don't want a lot of squeeze out. I'd like to see. I see squeeze out all the way around. Do you see that, Mark? Mm-hmm. Should be good. All right, that's about the right amount. All right, y'all, we're gonna go on the inside. Mark, did I cover up your orientation? You can see the keys though.
It's all right, I can get it.
We're gonna try to line these keys up all the same way. Mark had marked them the right orientation, but you guys see the little cogs in there for the part that keeps it from spinning. I forgot what they call that. But generally we want them all kind of lined up and down, or vertically is kind of the way to go. We've got the through-hole push through. I went ahead and ran a bit of a bead around, and then I put a little bit of 4200 around the face of the nut there. mark is on the outside. I'm gonna very carefully run that one up. Very important to put 4200 on the inside as well. I can feel it starting to make contact. There, y'all, you can see the squeeze out around the perimeter. All right, Mark, are you holding it?
Ready.
You holding it tight? Do you like the orientation?
Yeah.
All right, and a big pair of channel locks are gonna be the ticket. Not easy to find a wrench that will fit. I'm gonna try to do this really neatly so we don't smear that 4200 everywhere. Are you holding it, Mark? You got her, bud? That is pretty tight. Feel good about that? All right, it does not have to be insanely tight, y'all, because that 4200 is really, really strong, but it's made to be removable. Remember, 5200 is permanent, 4200 is removable, so super, super important on Thru-Hulls. Sometimes people will say use 5200, but you can also go on YouTube and find a lot of folks that are having a lot of trouble removing Thru-Hulls, and at some point in the future you may have to remove it. So we've got some more of the Permatex, the PTFE thread sealant and lubricant, and we've got that Thru-Hull installed, and we're getting ready to put one of these big valves on, but I'm going to run a little bead around the perimeter here. Let's get a liberal amount. I'm going to put some, sometimes that's where wearing the gloves and putting some on your finger, working that into the threads. They recommend on this particular sealant to put it on the male threads, which would be this surface. A little bit more. These are below the waterline fittings, not under real high pressure, but certainly don't want them to leak. All right, here's a big 1.5-inch valve. I'm gonna see if we can't very carefully run that one up. There we go.
You know when you get ready to tighten it.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to tighten it. This one's kind of got to be at an angle. Y'all look. Mark, are you holding? I believe that is about right. I think that is going to be okay. All right, y'all, valve number 1 installed. Okay, y'all, so that is the outer flange of that last Thru-Hull fitting. Mark's gonna hold the camera, and I'm gonna show y'all the cleanup process. You're gonna want a little squeegee blade and some shop towels. And what we're gonna do is we have taped all this, and you can see the squeeze out. That is why we were so careful with taping, is because it makes cleanup a lot easier. And what we're doing is we are just taking that and catching that excess. Now we are using the 4200 fast cure, and it is fast. Honestly, you could use the regular 4200. Some applications, unless you really got to go, might be a better. All right, so see there, y'all, we got a bunch of that material. We're gonna take some acetone and a rag, and at this point, even with the tape on there, we can come around and clean off the excess, the residue from that 4200. You got to do this pretty fast after the install, or else it's going to start to skin over. It does not mess around. All right, And I'll tell you what, before we pull that tape, we'll go ahead and install that inside valve. All right, y'all, so we will pull the tape when we're all done with the tightening, but I'm gonna go back inside and we've got the last valve. This is a big 1.25 inch going right down the middle. Again, we're going back with the Permatex with the PTFE Teflon. You always want to go on the male threads. You're supposed to go on the outside of the fitting there. I'm gonna put a few good blobs. Might be overkill. Just want to be sure we get a good seal, and then using those gloved hands we can work that into the threads. That is a crucial step. Even though bronze is relatively soft, sometimes you can't stop it exactly where you might want to. That thread sealant will help seal any gaps without having to just torque down on that thing. All right, here we go, one-handed. You on there, Marky Mark? All right, it's coming snug. All right, usually we get it hand tight. Y'all, I'm gonna, again, since we don't have a cameraman, I'm going to put a wrench on that. We'll probably get one more full turn. I'm gonna show you guys when we're all finished up. That's it, guys. We were whooped. That has been a lot of work. Now, most of y'all probably gonna just be replacing Thru-Hulls. Most people probably aren't adding that many new Thru-Hulls. That's a 7, 8, counting the drain. But I'm pretty pleased with that. We got to be sure everything will open and close and everything can spin on. That seemed like a big compartment when we did it. And we're going to come out here and I'm going to show y'all that tape. We'll show you the finished product. Let's see there. All right, Marky, you want to be the cameraman? Yep. Yeah. Yeah. All right. And that's already kind of been tooled off of there. I know. Get some good light on it. Tell you what, this stuff is not. The gloves protect you, but they also make it a little trickier to do the work. So once we got the tape off of there, then we're gonna come back and usually gonna clean it up just a little more. And you can see that caulk line is super tight in there. Use that acetone and it is good to go. Well, all right, crew. Woo! I think me and my brother Marky Mark here again. That's done. We are so glad that's done. I think y'all were gonna be trying something different. Y'all comment and let me know. I think we're gonna be doing shorter videos and maybe just one specific job per video on some occasions. We thought the Thru-Hulls might be helpful. But basically, as a rundown, you guys wanna be sure to measure twice, cut once when you're drilling the holes. If you can get one of these little Thru-Hull step down, they call it a step down tool. Very, very handy. It keys in there and you can hold. See, it's adjustable. That is a handy dandy little thing. The 3M 4200. Now we use the Fast Cure today. Quite honestly, unless you got to go in the water pretty quick or you can move pretty fast, the regular 4200 would be the way to go. And then the Permatex thread sealant and lubricant with the PTFE or polytetrafluoroethylene is going to be the way to go. But guys, as always, it's Captain Joe here with Island Marine Charters. My brother Marky Mark and Fish Bump TV here on YouTube. If you guys are enjoying the content, be sure to tell a friend, like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. We'll catch you guys next time out.